In the 1980s, a young man named Mark Hofmann became a legend in the world of rare documents. But there was a twist. He wasn't just finding history, he was manufacturing it. He sold supposedly lost letters from America's founding fathers. Secret Mormon documents that could shake the church to its core. And even a never-before-seen poem by Emily Dickinson. His forgeries were so flawless, so utterly convincing, that even the FBI's top experts were fooled. They authenticated his work, declaring it genuine. But beneath the perfectly aged ink and the meticulously crafted signatures lay a dark and deadly secret. Hofmann's creations weren't just brilliant deceptions, they were ticking time bombs. And the countdown had already begun. What made Hofmann a master wasn't just his skill with a pen, it was his obsession with detail, his dedication to the science of deception. He didn't just copy old handwriting. He resurrected the past itself. He would steal blank pages, called end papers, from 19th century books to ensure his paper was authentically old. He didn't use modern ink, he concocted his own iron gall ink, following historical recipes to the letter. But his true genius, the final touch that made his forgeries undetectable, was his aging process. He developed a method using chemicals and a vacuum chamber to artificially age the documents, making the ink look as if it had been sitting on the page for over 100 years. He didn't just forge signatures, he forged the very soul of the paper. His deceptions grew bolder with each success. He sold documents to collectors, archives, and even the Library of Congress, fooling the most discerning eyes in the world. But his most audacious and profitable creation was the infamous Salamander Letter. This document purported to be a letter from Martin Harris, an early associate of Mormonism's founder, Joseph Smith. It offered a completely different, almost magical account of the religion's origins, involving a white salamander instead of an angel. The letter was so explosive, it threatened to rewrite the very foundation of a major American religion. The church, desperate to control the narrative, paid Hofmann a fortune to acquire and suppress it. He had achieved the ultimate forger's dream. He wasn't just copying history, he was actively changing it, holding an entire faith hostage with a piece of paper and a lie. He had fooled the nation. But building an empire on lies is like building a house of cards on a fault line. Hofmann lived a lavish lifestyle, buying expensive cars and a new house, all funded by his forgeries. But he was spending faster than he could forge. Debts started piling up. The pressure mounted as deals he had promised began to fall through. He owed people documents he couldn't produce and money he didn't have. Historians and document experts, once his biggest champions, started noticing tiny inconsistencies. Questions were being asked, and the whispers of doubt grew louder. Hofmann was trapped. His meticulously constructed world was crumbling around him. And he knew it was only a matter of time before he was exposed. The master forger, the man who controlled the past, was losing control of his present. And when a man like Mark Hofmann gets cornered, he becomes incredibly dangerous. To stop the truth from coming out, he turned from deception to destruction. He became a killer. In October 1985, Salt Lake City was rocked by a series of explosions. The first victim was Stephen Christensen, a collector and businessman who had been pressuring Hofmann about a promised set of documents. The pipe bomb, disguised as a package, killed him instantly. Hours later, a second bomb exploded, killing Kathy Sheets, the wife of Christensen's former employer. The city was gripped by fear, believing the attacks were related to a financial business collapse. But the next day, a third bomb went off, this time in Hofmann's own car. He was severely injured but survived. Initially, he played the victim, suggesting he was also a target of the mysterious bomber. But investigators were suspicious. Why would a bomber target three seemingly unrelated people? The investigation quickly zeroed in on the one man who connected all the victims, Mark Hofmann. The forger's web of lies was finally unraveling, stained with blood. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place not in an interrogation room, but in a forensic lab. Catching Hofmann required a scientific miracle. For months, investigators had analyzed his documents, but his methods were too good. The paper was real. The ink recipe was correct. But as they examined the documents under high-powered microscopes, forensic specialists noticed something strange, something that had never been seen before in genuine historical documents. The ink on Hofmann's forgeries showed a unique, microscopic cracking pattern. Like the scales of an alligator, they called it alligatoring. This effect, they discovered, was a telltale sign of artificial aging. Naturally aged ink fades and sinks into the paper. It doesn't crack like dried mud. It was the one detail Hofmann had missed. The forensic fingerprint he left behind on every single one of his masterpieces of deception. The man who had rewritten American history for a decade was finally unmasked. Mark Hofmann's story is a chilling reminder that our understanding of the past is fragile. It's built on trust, on the belief that the artifacts and documents we hold dear are authentic. But what if they aren't? How much of what we believe to be true is actually a carefully constructed lie, waiting to be discovered? History is only as real as the paper it's written on. I'm your host, and this is the Empire of History. Subscribe to our channel and join us as we continue to unmask the truth hidden in the pages of the past. Thanks for watching.